Well, it seems you're back for part 3 of Who Needs a Superhero? Chapter 4, Iron Man, Salvation by Success. Man of metal and hope of a heart. Like anyone, Tony Stark has longed for certainty and safety. He's believed hard work, brains, and determined can build a good future. Relying on his own cleverness and determination, he's built built the weapons company he inherited from his father into a multi-billion-dollar corporation. In fact, he's built several such companies. He's had to. When the top secret U.S. espionage agency SHIELD decided that Stark's International's withdrawal from the weapons productions posed a potential threat to the United States security, the quiet buyout proceeded. SHIELD acquired 51% of the stock in SHIELD International, and though Stark was eventually able to reclaim control from SHIELD, it was to no avail. He later lost the company entirely in a hostile takeover mounted by the unethical business rival Obadiah Stane. Stark then built a new company from scratch and dubbed it Stark Enterprises. But after Stark's apparent death, his cousin inherited the company and sold it. Tony Stark returned from the dead, but decided not to go to court to reclaim Stark Enterprises. Instead, once more, relying on his own inner resources, he moved on to found Stark Solutions. Clearly, Tony Stark is a genius at building successful companies. Just as clearly, he's not very good at holding them onto them either. If wealth were to be a fortress, Stark's would build round himself. It would be made of walls continually needing to be propped up and reinforced. Even when money flowed freely, Stark was too busy, too embattled, and at least occasionally too embittered to appreciate the advantages his money could buy. What about romance? Surely that particular wall stands firm in the house that Stark built. True, Stark's dated scores of beautiful women, revolving door processions of gorgeous socialites always seemed to be in wait for him, but problems abound. For many years, he's had to protect his injured heart and double identity as Iron Man by wearing an iron chest plate. That must remain a secret from everyone, from even his closest friends. That means he can never lower his guard with women he dates. Even a casual hug might give away his secret. This is not the stuff of which love or even intimacy is made. In fact, the first great love of Tony Stark's life was his administrative assistant, Pepper Potts. For years, Tony loved Pepper in silence, afraid to entrust her with his most cherished secret. Pepper was also in love with Tony, but Stark waited too long to confess his feelings. The moment passed, and Pepper married Tony's employee and friend, Happy Hogan. Even after Tony Stark found a way to free himself from the iron chestplate that kept him alive, his romantic life remained a saga of disappointment and disillusionment. Perhaps the story of Stark's love life is summed up by his relationship with Kathleen Dare. His former love interest nearly killed him by shooting him and leaving him paralyzed for months. You might think Stark could ease his loneliness with the glittering social life of fashionable clubs, box seats for opening night, jaunts to the Riviera, and the finest fare that money can buy. Surely this alone is enough to make life worthwhile. But beneath the peeling glint of paint, the wall of Stark's fortress is also cracked and crumbling. Exhausted from building empires, lovelorn and lonely, he too often looks for comfort and courage in the bottle. Some of the hardest trials in his troubled life have been the immeasurable worse by his addiction to alcohol. What began as a social recreation turns into a deadly disease. Stark's dead-end existence is like what I once found behind the door in a church I visited. The church had two doors behind the pulpit, one on each side of the front wall. The resident minister told me one door led to a little room used for hanging robes and storing worship supplies. The other? Take a look. The minister invited, smiling. I opened the door and found myself staring at a blank brick wall. The minister explained that the architect had installed the second door merely to balance the first and improve the appearance of the room. This had been Tony Stark's experience. Neither wealth nor romance has brought the struggling hero any abiding joy. In spite of promises of pleasure and living the high life, he's opened a promising door that's led nowhere. He found only addiction, self-loathing, and emptiness. He smashed painfully into a brick wall. The fortress he's built to provide for his own salvation has tethered. Every potential savior has either failed or betrayed him. Yet one wall remains, one that might just be strong enough to hold the whole house together. The wall built from bricks and mortar of science and technology. Technology, after all, has been the one thing in his life on which Tony Stark has always been able to rely. Technology made him rich, kept his injured heart beating, transformed a playboy into a superhero, and offered Iron Man salvation. This is the end of part 3. Come back for part 4. Blessing or curse? We'll find out. Again, thank you for tuning in. And remember to hit that like button. Subscribe if you get to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Share and of course comment. And have a great and wonderful day. Bye for now.